Hello, citizens of YouTube. This is the Geeky Nerd here. And today we're going to be talking about the infamous, regarded, wanted, desired, hated, whatever you want to call it, Glock frying pan finish, Tennifer, Melanite, all these different names, right? And what my general opinion is on it, and just kind of demonstrate to you guys what the real clear difference is, because it doesn't really seem like there's been too many videos doing the direct comparison, and the ones that's kind of still hard to see, but I think mine stands out just a little bit. But before I begin, I'd like to send a big thank you out to everyone who's liked, commented, and subscribed on the previous videos. I always appreciate and always enjoy talking to you guys. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you enjoy this video, enjoy this type of content, please consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. And with the PR out the way, let's get into it. So the Glock Tennifer finish, the Glock frying pan finish, many different names, right? And it's basically changing their finishing process. Now, here I have Gen 4s, 17, 26, 19 here. And really kind of show how the finishes age, progress, what have you, and really give that clear distinction. Now, generally speaking, Gen 3s, I don't know about the really older ones, but Gen 3s, most of them are going to have this frying pan Tennifer finish. Again, it goes by many different names, but the frying pan one is the one that most people know about, right? And very early Gen 4s have it, like this Gen 4 17, right? And it was in service for a bit, but then it got transitioned to the newer nitride finishing, what have you, in the same model year. And then in the Generation 5, which I don't have one of those because I'm a Gen 4 kind of guy, is they have their NDLC near diamond like coating, which is very, resistant, but very deep blacks. Or it looks very black. It doesn't have a kind of a gray, a chalky finish. It doesn't really have a slickness to it. But again, I'm just focusing on the Gen 4s here because this one in the middle is the one that people always like to talk about and compare. So what's my general take on it? I like the Gen 4s that don't have the frying pan finish, and the Gen 3. I like the Gen 4 finishes the best. That's my general consensus. Gen 5 is nothing wrong with them. I just like the fit, finish, feel, function of the Gen 4s. I know I'm kind of one of the weird ones, but as you guys see here on my channel, I do like weirder, unique guns, and Gen 4 doesn't have the best compatibility across the board, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's kind of why I like it. And you'll find Gen 3s everywhere out there, and everything's Gen 5, but there's really no Gen 4 kind of group and kind of like dedication there. So they're kind of weird and they're kind of forgotten, but I like them, and that's the only Glocks I'll get is the Gen 4s now. And actually here starting out, talking about how the finish and how it ages, things like that, and just get out the way because I know you want to see it up close. This is not a standard frying pan. What I did for this one is when I got it, so in transparency, these two are police trade-in ones, so they did have a bit of wear to them. This one is mine. That it was funny enough. This one holds a special place in my heart. This one was my first ever handgun purchase, as you see there by some of the accessories. But I still like the accessories, so don't judge me for it. But I took some of this, and I know there's some purists out there. There's somebody out there just screaming at the top of their heads, right? But it's like, well, no, it's my Glock, and I like how it looks. But I took some of this Cape Cod metal polish here. It took quite a bit of elbow grease and probably about an hour, and just going back and forth, just through the motions, right? Just taking a single cloth. This was all done with just one Cape Cod polishing cloth, and just going through the motions. Because one thing about the frying pan finish is that it has kind of an orange peel to it. And as you can kind of see here, kind of zooms in, but you see it almost has like a sort of texture to it, right? Which I wasn't the biggest fan of. I thought it almost looked like it was refinished, like someone took did like a Lumihide, like Browning's Lumihide, or like a Cerakote or something like that, right? It looked okay, but it just didn't look right, like what I was expecting a Gen 4. And again, police trains, you don't really know. So when I first got it, I said, oh man, it's been refinished. Kind of sucks. But I've kind of grown to love it a little bit, versus on the later generations. And again, this one being like their new Tennifer nitride coating, what have you, on the Gen 4s. And then same thing with the NDLCs on the Gen 5s. You see, you don't have that same kind of finish marks. But talking about this one in particular, took that Cape Cod polish cloth and just really just went through the motions with it. was going fast enough to where the slide itself started getting hot, which is where it um, started kind of coming through. So no Dremel, this is all just hand done. But what I really liked that it did was where you used to be able to run your finger across it, and you could feel the kind of that finish, that imperfections. Now it's like baby's ass glass smooth, right? Um, and just looking through it, it gave it, it almost looks, so right here, you can see it looks black, looks kind of shiny, but it isn't like a mirror. But as soon as it catches the light right, it really sort of glimmers. And you can actually see, color and reflection on my pinky in there, but it is still black. So I love it's like almost like a black chromed out instance. But yeah, you see actually the reflection of the slide or the front sight there. Um, just looking through here, you gotta see just how the finish looks. But again, it's still black. Now, as far as slickness, that's why it's one reason why people don't like these, and why I'm not. I'm a fan for this one, but not the fan for overall. Right? Is that again? It's hard to describe through a camera here. Right? I would say when you grab a gun, like my fingers actually grab into this. Right? Like as I'm just putting moderate, it's wanting to unlock. Right? But going to this one, it's wanting to unlock. This one, it's I'm having to apply substantially more pressure before it'll actually start unlocking. So it is a lot of a slicker finish. Now, one thing as well is that this finish wears exceptionally well, which is why I think a lot of people like it. Is that you can have a gun for multiple years and it'll never really show like holster wear or anything like that. Of course, you beat it to hell back in half of Georgia, it will, but it really resists showing that wear. Again, this being a police trade-in, almost a 20-year-old police trade-in, give or take, and again, never refinished is just how it was, other than me just polishing it up. But you see, like in the typical areas where there's usually holster wear, maybe ever so slightly right on that top corner, but that's about it. Versus this other police trade-in, you can see noticeably more of that wear. You also see on the top holsters, right? Um, versus here, you obviously don't see it. So that orange peel does kind of hide some of the finish. And again, these being police trade-ins, this being my baby that I've had for a number of years, and I like to baby all my guns, and even then, there's still like little wear marks there. I mean, it is pretty immaculate condition for most things, right? But there's slight, there you can see up top, right? Like slight little imperfections that have developed in the finish, and even with babying it. So, but maybe that's to be said something about it, is that a babied gun versus a little bit more of a harder use gun have fared pretty close, not too terrible, but nothing compared to this frying pan finish. Uh, so I'd say it's definitely not a collector piece. If you don't have one in your collection, highly recommend it, just to have one, because it is kind of neat. It does feel very nice in the hand. It does kind of look showy, and if you take like a little bit of polish there, and just kind of polish it up, you do kind of get like a black candy paint chrome type deal, which I'm really kind of digging. But yeah. Sorry for the long video here, just describing a finish, but I thought it would be warranted for any collectors, anyone out there who just likes weirder, unique guns. And if you're on this channel, then you're in the right place, right? But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, and/or subscribing. And I hope everyone's having a wonderful, awesome, fantastic day. And I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.